Hey guys, this is Georgia. So today I'm going to give you all some advice on keeping Russian tortoises or Horsefields tortoises indoors. So first I've done a full care video. You can go and check that out. It was uploaded a year, just over a year back, I think. There's my tortoise there. Her name is Poppy. If you've all been watching, you probably know that. There she is. Now, I know she has a calcium deficiency. I'm going to do a video telling her story, so that'll be coming up. So that's why she has odd-shaped shell, discolouring and all that. So, the enclosure. So this is a 3 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot high. So, this enclosure opens from the top. Now, sadly, I don't know where this enclosure came from because I got it. Let me just close my window. I don't know where this enclosure came from because we got it when we rescued it. Now it also opens here, very secure enclosure. It also opens here, so there is Poppy. She is. For easier access if you want to take them out, but in general I use this and I don't lock it because there's no possible way that she can get up and push this open. So I know her water bowl looks kind of dirty. I literally changed it earlier today, and as soon as I change it she gets in it and messes it all up, so quite annoying, but you know, what are you gonna do? So first what I'm going to cover in this video is the enclosure and the supplies. So I've covered the enclosure. This is like, this will be upgraded soon, as she isn't that large yet. Here she is compared to my hand. She isn't that large yet. I can just cover it there, but she's not that large yet, so not worried about the enclosure size yet, but it will turns the size. But as soon as they get adult, you want to give them as much room as possible. I'm in for an 8 foot by 4 foot. This is a 3 foot by 1 foot, and you want it decently tall because you don't want them being able to climb over the edge. You want at least a 1 foot. I recommend just in case, and especially if you have other pets, you want it raised like a table or on a table. So, care tips and advice this video is supposed to be. So, care tip number 1 is heat lamp. So you want to renew this the heat lamp at least once every year. Now this heat lamp is heat and UVB. They require both, as all tortoises do. This is heat and UVB. This is Exoterra branded. I can't remember how much it costs. I'd say in the UK probably about £50. But that's with the whole setup. But the actual bulb costs £20 to £30. In Pets at Home, for example, and there's different shops that do it, but this is the lamp, and you definitely want to cover on it. It comes with, I believe it comes with it. I'll have to check on that. So does this this holder thing, so it kind of like you can dangle it over like this, or of course there's other ways to do it. There's DIY and all that. You can attach it to the wood through hinges and string and all different things like that. So, next thing I'm going to cover is the basking spot. So, for the basking spot, you want a stone below it, so the stone actually heats up, and then of course they can move out of the area if they don't want to be hot. But the heat, the rock gets really warm. Yeah, the rock does get warm, so does this rock here, but you want to keep the water quite away from the basking spot, but I popped it in there. It's not too bad because it wouldn't be much different than the natural environment. So, now, as a substrate, I mean, I use a 50-50 mix between play sand, or of course you can use any sand from the pet shops except calci sand, which is calcium sand. It's fake sand. I do not recommend to use with any animal whatsoever, even if it recommends in the pet shop care guides. You want to do way more research than just the pet shop care guides, because they are known, they are renowned for not being very reliable. So, I should have said notorious. That's notorious for not being very reliable. They require 2 hides. So the hides that I recommend, well, I've got this one here, which is obviously a wooden one. It's actually for hamsters and rats and small animals like that. Gerbils, rats, hamsters, anything like that. Degus, which they sell commonly at pet shops. This one is this one is, as you can see, just a normal one. It could be used as a bridge, and it can actually be moulded into shape. You can bend it because it's got wires inside it, wire inside it. But my tortoise enjoys it as a hide. And of course, you want a hide in the warm area of the enclosure and a hide in the cooler area of the enclosure. This is the hide I got. This is a solid hide in the cooler area. And yeah, you want rocks in here because otherwise you're going to have to get their nails clipped. As you can see, let me see if I can get a good shot of that. Her nails aren't, are kind of long, but they are being filed on the rocks. As you can see, she's about to walk over some rocks. Now, you also, I'd recommend getting a feeding slate. So the slate below her feeding dish, so it doesn't, so you can brush off any dirt, so the food doesn't get contaminated with sand, and it can impact the it can impact them and damage their digestive system, get caught up in the digestive system, and that can cause surgery, which is definitely not something you want to deal with in an exotic animal. Surgery can be very complex, especially in hatchling and juvenile tortoises. So, water dish, you obviously want a water dish that they can get in and get out of. Now, as you can see, mine's not too deep, but in her tortoise table that I'm going to be getting, there will be a much bigger one in there, so therefore you have to I recommend giving them baths. But yeah, that's the water dish covered. I also have a little old feeding dish down here. Don't feed her in there, so she just climbs over that, used as like a fake rock, if you will. And also one thing I'd like to point out, this over here, I keep over here, this is called cuttlefish bone. Now this is used, so say they feel they're not getting enough calcium, they can eat the cuttlefish bone, they will chew at it. As you can see, they come as big pieces, like, how can I describe the shit? Well, anyway, this was one, so you put it together. This was one cuttlefish bone that's obviously been eaten and chewed up, so they just go behind a food bowl. Yeah, that was one cuttlefish bone that's just been eaten up, and yeah, they can eat it overnight if they feel they're not getting enough calcium. But since we're on the topic of calcium, I'm going to move on to out of the enclosure now, and we're going to move on to the supplement. So this is calcium and vitamin D3. Now, some people I wouldn't dust the food every day, maybe every 3 days or every other day if you wish. This calcium of course helps with shell growth, and obviously they absorb the calcium with UVB. Without UVB, giving them calcium is pointless because it has no purpose without the UVB. So, and vitamin D3, some people like to alternate between just calcium and then every other time they do calcium and D3. I just do calcium and D3 every time, because that's how I like to do it. And also, this, you don't have to have this, but I actually got this for my tortoise for Christmas. So, this is dried, it's dried flowers, so there's dried dandelion, dried sunflower, different dried plants in here, and you just sprinkle it over their food, and it's got a really nice smell. You just sprinkle a little over their food every time you feed them, And yeah, you can do that. So next is this. Now this is clean and safe disinfectant. So you don't have to have this brand, of course. Basically, this is safe for small animals. You can get a reptile one, but this is safe. You can clean the whole enclosure. You can clean the food dishes, water dishes, the feeding slate, anything like that. But you want to, with food and water dishes, you want to rinse thoroughly after use and wash it with clean water thoroughly afterwards, just to make sure that obviously the bacteria is being killed, and now you don't want your tortoise to be ingesting any of these chemicals, because it is actually dangerous to them. But of course, if it's rinsed out, it's fine. Now, you don't actually need this. So if mainly in the US, they have like water tanks and things like that for the cities. This is important to use, but mainly it's for fish tanks. But as you can see, there's a fish on there. Yeah, you can use this, but you don't have to. And to put that in the water, you need a pipette. I recommend this is just a classic pipette to suck up the water, then drip it in to the water. So also, this is just a spray bottle. Now, in one, you do want a kind of damp hide. What I do is I fill up a jug, I fill up her water dish, and then I pour the rest over her hide over here. So she has a humid hide, decently moist. You don't want to it doesn't need to be really humid, just kind of humid, maybe 20 to 40% humidity, but it doesn't really affect them. But a common misconception is that desert tortoises don't need fresh water. That is completely opposite. They do require fresh water at all times. It's just a common misconception of desert species, of any animal really. Next is just a toothbrush. So this, when you give them a bath, you can actually scrub their shells. So obviously gently, of course, but you can scrub the shells while they're having a bath if they have any feces stuck to them or dry dirt. And then this is the last one I have to show you. Just disposable gloves. So when you're doing the cleaning, the spot cleaning, big cleans, handling the substrate, handling their food, you can use disposable gloves. Well, I recommend using it when you're cleaning, especially because you may come in contact with the animal's feces, and of course, clean your hands thoroughly afterwards. Now, one other thing, let me just get a nice shot of the tortoise while I'm talking about this. One other thing I'd like to mention is the bath. So you can put them in the sink, of course not in a massive bath, but you can also get little storage tubs. Don't fill it high at all, nothing above their face. But they actually do put their face under. Looks like they're blowing bubbles, but they're actually drinking. They can get moisture through their skin, through their anus, and through their nose. They don't actually drink like humans would. So yeah, this was my tortoise care tips and advice for you guys. This is for indoor enclosures. I will be doing an outdoor enclosures one. Probably I will film it tomorrow or the day after, but it will be uploaded. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do leave a comment, any video suggestions you have. Okay, thank you guys for watching.